I was looking for a small LED flashlight that I could use to mount to my bike helmet, and I went on Amazon and I got this guy. This is a Gosuna brand LED flashlight. You can find them under about 100 different brand names on Amazon, but basically it's a single LED, uses a single 18650 battery, and it has a little zoom feature. I didn't realize when I bought it though that it's quite large and pretty heavy actually, and it's going to make it a challenge to actually mount it to my helmet. So I decided to find a different flashlight that was smaller and lighter, and I ended up with this, which is an Olight S2 Baton, and it also takes the same 18650 battery. But as you can see, it's obviously much smaller and lighter, and it turns out that it's a much better flashlight. That's the too long didn't watch version. It's way brighter, it has better features, and it's much smaller, and it's going to be a lot better for what I want to do with it. But I just want to do a quick comparison just to show you the differences, and then I'll show you how the light output varies. So the first thing, obviously, you can see the size. This thing doesn't have the zoom. I didn't really need the zoom anyway, and this guy's got the button here. This one's got the button on the back. I guess this is preferred for tactical use, but it's not going to matter to me. And I've got a little digital scale here that I can use. We can show the weight comparison here. So you can see it's reading 0. So this is the bare flashlight, 119 grams. With battery, 157 grams. Whereas the Olight, 43 grams. That's a huge difference. It's less than half. Plus the battery, 81 grams, a little over half the weight with the battery included. So that's going to be a huge difference with this thing sitting on my head. So you can definitely see why I wanted to go with the lighter version, also because the smaller diameter here is going to be easier to build a mount to put it on my helmet. So one of the reasons this Olight S2 is so much smaller than this one, even though they both take the same battery, is that this guy actually gives you the option for, instead of using the 18650 rechargeable, you can use 3 AAAs in this little carrier. So that might be handy if you're actually, are in a situation where you don't have the 18650 battery, you don't want to use 18650s. I had them around for some other applications, so I don't use this, but you might. This guy, on the other hand, is machined specifically for the 18650. It also comes with a sleeve, but this doesn't allow you to use AAAs. It allows you to use CR123 batteries. So I'm not using that, but you might. I've got freshly charged 18650s in both of these guys, and I just want to show you some of the main feature difference that drove me to use this guy instead of this. This button is used to turn the light on and off, and it basically just cycles through the various modes. You can give it a half press if you want to switch to a different mode, but it doesn't remember the mode that you set it in. So if I turn it on right now, it's going to be I've already set it so that it'll turn on in the highest power mode. Click it on, and you can click through. That's medium, that's low. You can't really tell on the screen because everything's saturated. Then it does a strobe setting, then it does an SOS setting, and then, you saw that the strobe came after the low setting. So this is high, medium, low, and if I turn it off now, when I turn it back on, it's going to go straight into the strobe setting, which is really annoying because I plan on using this on my bike, and I don't want to have to cycle through the settings every time just to get to high, which is what I'll probably use it on most times. This guy, on the other hand, has a smart switch. You turn it on, so this should be on high, and you hold it down and it switches. Oh, it was on low, so this is low. Hold it down, switches to medium, switches to high, now it's on ultra high, now it's low. If I turn it off and I turn it back on, it comes back on low. It's great. It also has a strobe setting You go into it by holding down the button some certain amount. I don't remember exactly how. I don't really plan on using it. But this is one of the main things that drove me to go for a different light instead of this one, because I knew I would get annoyed at the button setup on this. This one, turn on, turn off, it remembers your setting. If I go to high, turn it off, turn it back on, it's high. Perfect. So this is a Cat-Eye Volt 300 USB rechargeable bike light. It's my main bike headlight. It's rated at 300 lumens, and this is going to be my reference light to compare with the two other lights that we're looking at. So it's rated at 300 lumens. I've seen one review that put the output as closer to 350 lumens, so we'll see how that compares. So first up, we're going to compare to the Gosuna light from Amazon. So I'm going to shut off the Cat-Eye and turn on the Gosuna. So off, and then here's the Gosuna. So you can see first off, obviously it's much dimmer overall. It has a slightly blue tint to the LED, and the light itself is extremely even. It's basically a very uniform disc, and so I can actually zoom in. We can, the brightness goes up a little bit, the peak brightness, but still very even. But it's also just not that bright compared to the Cat-Eye. And if you zoom in even further, you can see the LED outline there. So that's the Gosuna. I'm going to shut this off, and I'm going to turn the Cat-Eye back on. So again, going back to our reference there, and then I'm going to switch to the Olight S2 Baton. So here's the Cat-Eye. I'm going to shut it off. And here's the Olight on high. So again, you can see it's a little more even than the Cat-Eye, not that uniform disc that the Amazon light is, but it's also much brighter. And the light is also basically the same color as the Cat-Eye, so it's like a daylight balanced light. It doesn't have that blue cast that the Amazon light has. So to me, the outputs of the Cat-Eye and the Olight look pretty comparable. The Olight has a slightly larger beam. The peak brightness is about the same. That means it's going to put out a few more lumens, which is exactly what you'd expect. The Olight is rated at 400 lumens, so it should be a little more total light output than the Cat-Eye. So as you can see, the Olight is a much better light. It's way brighter. The smart switch is much more convenient. It's smaller and lighter. So this is definitely, even though this is a $50 light, whereas this is, $9 or $10, this is worth every penny more. This guy, if you want something to use in like your car just as an emergency use, you could use it with the AAAs. That might make sense, but it's definitely not the kind of thing you want to carry around every day, and if you actually care about light output, it is just not there. So I'd say the Olight S2 Baton is definitely a much better value, even though it costs more.